Thank you. Okay, so hold on. How do I wait a minute? How about now? Yes, okay. After all these classes, I still can't figure all these little buttons. Okay, great. So we're gonna start with the butterfly, the reclined version. So you can grab whatever props you need for you to support your back. If you want it to be at an angle, sometimes if you have your period, it's better to go at an angle so that your belly is lower than your pelvis. If you had a big meal as well, going at an angle feels a little bit nicer. So you can prop it up. So if you have a block and a bolster, you can do what I just did. At the angle, you can choose your preferred height. Okay, this is a little bit higher. And then if you have the bolster or if you have like a long cushion, just make sure that this part is touching your sacrum area. So that means your bum is going to be on the floor and the end of your pillow is just touching the sacrum area. And then have your feet together. You can have towels underneath your knee as well. And then when you're ready, you can slowly lean back. If you don't have any props tonight, you can still do the same pose without any props. You're just going to be lying flat on the floor, which is also fine. Okay, so set that up and then just make yourself comfortable. Once you lie back, you can kind of adjust the distance of where your feet want to be. So if you want to stretch a little bit deeper, have your legs closer towards you. That makes it harder for your knees to drop lower. That means the stretch is going to be a little bit more deeper. And then kind of just like use your hands to kind of move your muscles around, move your back a little bit, move your shoulders, just kind of just wiggle around a little bit. Just find that really comfortable spot, especially for your neck as well. And you want your neck to be in line with the rest of your spine. And then once you're there, for your hands position, you can place them on the floor with the palms facing up. Or if you're all the way flat on the floor, you can have your arms above your head. And then you can just gently close your eyes. I'm going to stay here for a few minutes. Good. So we're just going to use the Baddha Konasana, the butterfly pose, to ease our body and the mind in towards this evening's practice. Always start with something very relaxing, a little bit less intense for the body. And with your eyes closed, you're going to feel the breath slowly starting to slow down a little bit. Just be more aware of the length of your breath and the depth of your breath. Notice any movements around the belly and the rib cage as you breathe in. Full expansion of the belly and the rib cage. And as you breathe out, it just slowly comes back down to control. Breathing through the nose. Few more deep breaths. And slowly bring some awareness back to the fingertips and your toes. And then slowly with your hands, you can close your knees up. Take your time and then roll off to the side. If you have a bolster, you slowly come off the bolster. And you're just going to come up to sitting. And stay in the seated position, just crossing your legs. Comfortable seated position. Use your fingers to kind of pull your cheeks apart a little bit so you can find the sit bones a little bit more closer towards the ground. And then in here, I want you to relax your neck, relax your shoulders a little bit, dropping them down towards the mat, keeping your back straight. Give it a few moments. So in this seated position, your legs are not crisscrossed, rather they're just one in front of the other. So with this position, you're just going to walk your fingers forward as far as you can go, keeping your tailbone reaching down towards the mat. And then if you feel comfortable, you can drop the elbows towards the mat. If you have a block, you can use a block and rest your head on the block. So very gentle stretch for your outer hip. If you have your left foot in front of your right, you should feel the left outer hip. From the glutes going down to the outside of your thighs. When you slowly start to get into the pose, you can lower the forehead closer towards the mat as well. Because with time, your body will start to soften and relax, and you're able to go a little bit deeper. Don't worry too much about shape of your spine. It can be straight, it can be rounded. Upper body is rather relaxed. And you're going to slowly come out of this pose. Bring your legs in front and just kind of let them hang out for a bit. Knees soft, toes rolled out to the side. Just kind of neutralize your spine for a couple of the moments, and then we're going to do the same pose with the other leg in front. Okay, when you're ready, you can swap legs. Have the other foot in front this time. Readjust the seat if you need to. And then you can start to walk your hands forward. Then when you're ready, place a block or just have your elbows supporting you. And then again, start to become more aware of your body through the yoga practice. So notice where you feel the stretch. Notice if there was any imbalances in between the two sides. If one side feels more intense than the other, or if one side stretches a different spot, even though you're doing the same pose. Shifting your block to go deeper if you have a block. Sinking forehead closer towards the mat. Right, slowly come out and releasing out of this pose. Whew. Okay, we're gonna take the props aside now. We're gonna lie back on the mat. So no bolster. And you're just gonna extend your legs forward and then just lie all the way down with your knees soft, kind of like in a Shavasana position. Soft knees, slightly bent knees. Good, and then we're gonna start with single leg happy baby pose. We'll start with the right leg. So I'm gonna bend the right knee up and then just hook onto your wrists, bringing the knee out towards the shoulder, and then keeping your left hip close to the mat, left leg soft. You're just going to use the weight of your arms to help you pull the leg close towards you to stretch the groin. The angle of where your knee is pointing is up to you. You can choose to have it closer towards your chest or out towards the armpits. It's what makes it feel more comfortable as you bring the knee up. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper by grabbing onto your right foot with both hands. And then you're going to try to bring the knees down closer towards the mat now. As you use the weight of your arm again, you're going to start to feel the pull a little bit more. And that left hip wants to come up. So you're going to want to try to keep that left hip down without using too much force on that left leg. So the left leg can still remain a little bit soft since this is a yin practice. You can stay here, or for the last 10 breaths, you can just try to extend that right leg a little bit straighter so that that stretch goes towards the hamstrings a bit more. And you're going to release all the way down, resting in Shavasana again, resting your arms down, your feet. And then just kind of use this Savasana to observe the changes in the body right now. See if you notice that kind of new kind of flush of fresh blood circling down towards that right leg. And now we're going to move to the left side. So we're bringing the left knee up. The first one is the easiest modification. So with your hands, you can interlace the fingers on the shin, or you can use the elbows. Just use the weight of the arm to bring the knee towards the shoulder, the chest. You feel the difference between when your right leg is more engaged and when your right leg is relaxed. And see which one you prefer. If you want a little bit deeper stretch, you can engage it and kind of just keep your legs a little bit straighter, not necessarily locking the knee. And then grabbing onto the sole of the left foot. And then dropping the knee down towards the mat. Again, you can feel the difference of whether your right leg is engaged. You feel the stretch going down towards that right inner groin as well. If your right leg is relaxed, you're going to feel the stretch towards the left thigh. For the last 10 breaths, you can stay here or extend the left leg straighter. And everyone release. Slowly bring your leg down. Readjust your hip position. Wiggle yourself a little bit. Arms down. Shavasana for a few deep breaths. And we're going to move on to the shoelace pose. So we're going to first start with your right knee bent, and you're going to have your left knee bent. You're going to cross your legs. So the right leg goes over the left with both knee bent. And then you're going to grab onto the outside of your feet. Okay, when you're ready, you can start to draw the heels towards yourself, meaning you're pulling your legs close towards you. Now, the amount of how much you pull is your choice. You want to keep both of your heels close to the outside of your bum. For this one, you should feel right now the outside of that right hip, the glute going to almost like not so much IT bend just yet, but it's kind of like the glute muscle down towards the thigh. And then you're going to release everything down, legs down towards the mat. Take a deep breath in, exhale all the way out. Now we're going to switch legs. So left leg over the right, both knees bent. Grab onto the outside of your foot. And then heels towards the bum and pull towards yourself. If you want to make it more intense, you're going to push using that right knee to push the left toes like that added weight so that your legs are even closer towards you. And you're going to release, uncross your legs, come all the way down, rest in Shavasana for a few deep breaths. Bring your knees towards you. Hug your knees and draw a few big circles all the way around. And slowly, as you draw the circles, you want to kind of feel your entire sacrum area touching the mat, all corners of it. So the tailbone, the side of your hips, and then do circle the other way around. And you're going to release your legs down. Then I'm going to slowly turn ourselves over to do a pec stretch. So take time, just kind of roll over. You're going to be on your belly this time. No props. We're going to start with your right arm. So with your right arm, you're going to have your arm in a 90-degree angle. And you're going to turn with your knees, both knees bent, kind of like in a twist. And you're just going to rest your head here. If this is not comfortable for your neck, you can place a block underneath you. So your arm is in a 90-degree angle on the mat, and both of your knees are bent. Good. That's it. If you have a shoulder issue and this 90-degree angle is not comfortable for your shoulder joint, you can have your elbow closer towards your body, meaning that your elbow is not going to be in 90. It's going to be closer towards you. So you still get a little bit of stretch, but it's going to eliminate any pain you have in the shoulder if you have previous injury. If this feels okay for you and you want to intensify the pose, with your left palm that's on the floor right now, you can push against the mat so that your body is almost kind of wanting to turn towards the ceiling. Then you're going to feel it more on that pec. And more deep breaths. Right, you're going to slowly release and slowly come back up. And go into child's pose with your arms back. So palms facing up. Relaxing your shoulders, let them round over your knees. Fingers relaxed. Knees apart. And when you're ready, we're going to move on to the other side. So same thing. You're going to turn to the left with your knees, both knees bent. Left arm in 90 degree. Rest your left ear on the mat. With your right hand on the floor, you can choose to push against the mat to deepen the stretch a bit more, or you can relax that right arm. And you're going to slowly release that. Come on up. And go back to child's pose one more time. Open your knees out, big toes together, head down, arms back. Right from there, we're going to slowly come up, moving on to Janushasana, which is the forward bend, sitting on your mat. And you're going to extend your right leg forward, have your left foot in. Choose the angle that you prefer tonight, whether your right leg is wider out or more forward, it's up to you. So you see how you feel. And then you're going to round your back a little bit. So not too much on purpose, but just kind of have it relaxed so that you're not reaching forward like that. So you're just going to have it a little bit more relaxed. And then you're going to start with pulling your cheeks apart. That will help to initiate the tilt of your pelvis, and that will help to let you come forward. If you have a block, you can have it underneath your head or resting on your elbows without a block. That right knee needs to be soft so that you're not pressing down, hyperextending that knee. Keep it a little bit soft. So the intention of the pose is for you to feel a gentle stretch along the hamstring, almost as closer towards the knee section rather than towards the bum. So adjust and see what's comfortable for you. Find that sweet spot where you feel just enough stretch. And you're going to slowly come up. Without moving your left leg, you're going to sweep the right leg behind and have your right shin be parallel to the long edge of your mat. You're going to just shift that left leg forward a little bit. So the shin is parallel to the front edge of the mat, and your right shin is parallel to the long edge of the mat. And then you're going to start to lean back just a little bit. Good. You're going to feel the stretch kind of almost starting from the hip flexor, and it's going to spiral inwards towards the inner thigh of that right leg. If you don't feel the stretch, you may want to readjust the angle of your right leg. Five more deep breaths on this one. Great, you're going to come back up, releasing the right leg forward, and just kind of sit for a moment with your knees soft. Again, back straight, knees soft. Then we're going to move on to Janu Shasana on the left leg. So left leg forward, right foot in. Then when you're ready, you can come forward, resting your forehead down. As you feel that your body is slowly starting to open up to the pose, you can adjust the block and deepen the pose. Usually it takes, for me personally, it takes about 10 deep breaths for me to feel that the body is starting to move with the pose. And I feel like I can deepen it. But it takes me 10 long conscious breaths. The reason I say that is because every time you do a full inhalation, your body is trying to expand in every single direction. And that includes the leg that you're stretching as well. And if you're able to extend that, which means you're extending the leg forward more, that's going to stretch out your muscles and your fascia a little bit more. And you're gonna slowly come up. Take your time. You're gonna sweep that left leg backwards. Readjust so that your shins are parallel to the edges of the mat. And then you're gonna start to lean back. Ooh, size tight. I'll just add that you will probably not be able to go directly back. You're gonna have to lean towards the right a little bit and back. So as long as you feel the stretch kind of from here going inwards, that's good. You're doing it right. And you're gonna come up and release. Bring your legs forward. Soften the knees. Grab your toes out to the side. Sit for a moment. And then you're gonna open your legs out to the side, both legs open. The angle of your legs is really depends on how your body is today. On some days, you may be able to open it a little bit wider. Some days you may not, so don't worry about it. And then again, use that finger trick to pull your cheeks apart. If you're super tight around this inner groin area and you're not able to sit up and you're kind of rounding your back a little bit, prop a towel or block underneath your bum. That's going to help elevate and you're able to tilt forward a bit. So knees are soft, however, your legs are close to straight. Your toes are kind of pointing up. When you're ready, you can either stay here if you already feel the inner groin stretching, or you can walk your hands forward, drop the elbows towards the floor. Use your block to support your head. Good. We'll stay there for about 2 minutes, not too long. So the shape of your back, since it's a yin practice, it's more of a relaxed shape. So you can have it rounded. But I want you to still be aware of how rounded it is, because if it's super rounded, it makes it hard to breathe as you do any kind of forward bend. And also could mean that you have tightness on your thoracic spine. So you want to kind of be aware about that and then just kind of work on that. It could even just be foam rolling at home. Just open up that area, adding more mobility to that part of the spine. About 10 more deep breaths. And slowly release all the way up. And you can close your legs and set up your final relaxation. So we're going to go into Shavasana tonight. If you're on your period, I would suggest you to go back to the Baddha Konasana, the butterfly, with support on your back. Otherwise, you can grab a towel and just lie all the way down into Shavasana. Before you go into Shavasana, if you want to sort of give your back a little bit more stretch again, you can bring your knees in and make circles. This is always a good one. This always kind of brings everything back to neutral for me. And then when you're ready, you can go all the way down to Savasana. Legs apart, palms facing up. Make yourself as comfortable as you need to. Closing your eyes. Slowly bring awareness back to your body, starting with your fingertips and then your toes, wrists and ankles. Feel free to stretch the arms over the head. Big stretch. Deep inhale and big sigh. One more time. Stretch your arms over the head. Big stretch. Big inhale and sigh. your time, you can slowly turn to the side of the mat. And then supporting yourself back up. Bring the hands together, thumbs touching the heart center. Giving thanks to yourself and each other for taking time to take care of yourself. Thank you for joining me tonight. See you all next time. Namaste. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Milla.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hope you feel better, Joyce.
Thank you.
That was lovely.
Thank you.
You did that.
I
Yes,
didn't
the
know
sun is
it was
still
going to be a
up.
yin class. That was a nice surprise.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted it to be
yoga.
a bit swollen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We thought this time of the day is nice to have a yin to kind of finish up the day. Yeah, it's good. It's relaxing.
Doing Riya's
All right.
Savasana pose in bed now. Right?
Exactly. Awesome. Glad you guys enjoy it.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.